Welcome, everybody. We are glad to have you along. I'm your host, Kris Merkel, here with Paul C. and Sol Dozer from the Sol Army Project Intel to drop some knowledge about the Aotuverse. Night Owl Syndicate, Monkai, which are just a few of the 50 plus mints this week. We can't do them all. Before we get into the nitty gritty, everyone, please remember that nothing said on this program should be considered as financial advice. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being here. How are you doing this week?
Great, Kris. Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a great show for both of us. Last week was pretty good. What's the landscape for the Sol NFT ecosystem look like since we saw each other last?
Oh man, for NFTs, a couple new metas have popped up. Crypto has, I don't know, sort of gone sideways since last week, but one meta that's popped up is gambling meta. Seen a lot of, like degen coin flip knockoffs and some different casino games popping up in projects. Some of them more legit than others, but apparently that's what's in right now. I think that all of these dropped within the last week or so. There's 50 projects here, all with a similar concept. So that's sort of the new meta. I don't know how most of those projects are doing, but I haven't personally looked into them. But who knows? There's a lot of them.
What do you think, Paul?
Yeah. Pretty funny to see, like, in that new collections page that you just had up there on the screen there. I think you would have a pretty high percentage that either have the word degen in their name or are a casino-based project. I can see just off the bat there's degen roulette, degen wheel, solette, like it just goes on and on and on. Curse degen. Yeah, so I think it's pretty clear just from this new collections page where the landscape's kind of at. People are looking to gamble, I guess, quite literally. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here.
Yeah. So why do you think that? Why do you think that's a meta that's popped up? I mean, degen coin flip's been around for quite a while. We're looking at right now 50 or so, 35. I can't. Yeah, there's got to be at least 40 up there of these gambling plays. Like, are they really just kind of piggybacking off each other, or are they just kind of draining liquidity from each other?
Yeah, I think there's a few reasons we're seeing this up here. There's a few factors that I think would contribute to this. The first one definitely being the fact that we recently had the degen Fat Cats mint, which was that continuation of the degen coin flip. So when there's a larger mint like that, it usually tends to shift the meta. Like we definitely went through that brand meta after that OK Bears, same kind of thing. I also think people are getting antsy for sure. And I think it's pretty fair to say there's not too many projects that are profitable off of mint at the time now. People are looking to put their money somewhere, and if they're able to double up on a coin flip or something like that, that seems to be capturing a lot of attention.
But overall, I don't know. I don't use them. I usually steer people away from them, actually, just because it's kind of an easy way to lose money, right? Once you get into it, you might win some for a while, but overall you end up being down. Of course, like I said, I've never played it, but it's just interesting to see that many up in the market. Another thing I wanted to take a look at is that we talked last week about Eternal Dragons, and this week it looks like there's another mint, right?
Yeah. So as mentioned last week, the way that Eternal Dragons is doing their mints is they're doing 10 batches of 1,000. So last week was the batch 2 mint, and then tomorrow is that batch 3 mint. I don't think we're going to go too deep into what Eternal Dragons is and what they are, because we did a pretty good review of that last week. But we're going to see that third class get minted tomorrow, and it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens from that.
Excellent. And then I didn't actually get a decent. Oh yeah, I actually have it up here right now. Another thing that we talked about a little bit last week was fruits. We didn't know much about it. We just mentioned it at the end, and it looks like fruits was one of those. It probably not a sleeper. Like it got really hyped about halfway through the mint and went bananas. So. What do you guys what are we looking at as far as fruits? Like we're sitting at a 699 Sol floor price now. Are we looking at seeing that go up and it being another like primates? What do you think?
Oh man, that's a tough question. That's the $1 million question. My opinion, I don't know. I always thought fruits was a little too good to be true. And hey, you know what? Projects have succeeded for much less. I'm sure what the fruits guys are doing, or it's great work. But I haven't looked into them enough to know if $6.99 is priced in right. But they definitely were hyped right off the bat. So there's potential there.
Yeah, I see it like, and that's just the floor price for general. There's a lot of traits. Like if you have a blueberry, I think you're at like a 300 Sol floor price. If you wanted to sell it, there's some traits are just non-existent on the market. And then real quick, there was a mint today. This is over. We're just kind of going back in history, but this is really interesting. It was a Sol mint on Exchange Art. John Lee is the artist here, and basically he had he's had some one of ones that are selling right now for 500 Sol. So he does a lot of arts. If you could think like Beeple in ETH, John Lee in Sol. Anyways, he just released his first collection. It was 500 NFTs of the same image, which confused some people. They were like, "What do you mean? I'm minting the same image as somebody else?" You got to think of it like prints in a gallery, right? Like you don't buy a Mona Lisa, you buy print of a Mona Lisa. And so I think this is actually going to be what's going to be a really good experiment here, especially as we take a look at what these floor prices are. We see a floor price here of like 33 Sol. I also see floor price. I saw a floor price for a couple hundred. So these minted at 5 Sol and are obviously selling for quite a bit more. Now, again, there's 500 of them. So, it's going to be interesting to see what the market does with that. So what do we have on deck or teed up for this week, Paul?
Yeah, so we've got a few interesting mints that are coming up. I think most of them actually that we will be touching on are tomorrow. We already mentioned Eternal Dragons and kind of gave the rundown on that one last week. But we've got a few other ones that you mentioned. We've got, I'm going to butcher the name, but we'll call it for the sake of the show, Aotuverse. In addition to that, we've got Owl Syndicate that we'll do a bit of a look at, and then Monkai.
All right. So look here at Monkai. So what are we looking at for diving into the what was it first? Aotuverse? Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look at that.
So Aotuverse, first project. So I guess just the key facts about it. It's minting tomorrow. Price is 2.5 Sol, which is pretty standard. The supply is 1,888, which is actually on the lower side. So that's actually a pretty good sign. Those are the facts about it, about the actual mint. But the project itself, it's pretty interesting. So it is adapted from a mobile game which was released back in 2020. And the game itself has somewhere around 15 million downloads with hundreds of thousands of daily active users. So that alone makes this collection very hyped, and then with the relatively low supply compared to other projects, I don't see why this wouldn't be a pretty hyped mint for tomorrow. It's the risk rating is, let's say, middle of the road to lower side if you have the opportunity. Could be an interesting one to keep an eye out for tomorrow. What else is there with this, Paul? I know you were talking about.
Yeah.
You looked a little more into the team. I didn't research a whole lot about that.
Yeah, for sure. I also find this mint pretty interesting. We talk a lot in the Sol Army about that utility versus usage. Utility being theoretical, a metric that can actually be tracked. So as you touched on, they have these self-reported numbers of these downloads in the millions and hundreds of thousands of active daily users. So I find that quite interesting. In terms of the team and who they've got behind them, they're actually being powered by that PlayToEarn Gaming, which has incubated, or I guess powered is the correct word, a couple other P2E games on the Solana blockchain. The most notable one, and the one that kind of like triggered that recollection for me, is Soul Chicks, which ended up doing some pretty crazy volume on Magic Eden, I believe in the 60,000s. But yeah, this is a very interesting project to me. It is important to note that this is just the first mint. There will be other mints for these NFT characters later on. I don't think they have set dates for those at this time, as well as having their token launch and a variety of other things to come, such as NFT rentals and leasing later on in the roadmap. Very similar to other play-to-earn games, including Axie Infinity, one of the bigger ones on Ethereum.
Yeah, so the play-to-earn is a pretty good meta. None of the games, there's Axie Infinity, and there's I can't remember the one on Sol. I'm gonna get a dusty stick from one of our Discord mods, who's a blockchain gamer. Can't remember the name of it, unfortunately. Anyways, they haven't done so well. Play-to-earn games haven't done so well on Sol right now. Why do you guys think that is?
Yeah, I mean, play-to-earn games, at least the NFTs that are linked to the play-to-earn games, it's all about the timeline of delivery of the project and how well it lives up to the hype that was created initially when the NFT was launching. So for some of those projects that you mentioned, the NFTs that are linked to some of those ones that didn't necessarily live up to the expectation don't do as hot. But with Aotuverse, I mean, they have a game that's been out since 2020. It's been out there for 2 years. So the team's proven past that they've been able to actually create something. And that, I mean, in some cases, these play-to-earn games, that's step one. Sometimes the teams build up all this hype and say this is what they're going to build, and it just never comes to fruition. So to come in to the NFT space already having created a game, it's a good sign. It's a really good sign.
Yeah, I'd agree with that statement as well. Like, I feel like where a lot of play-to-earn games across the entire space really fall apart is because they are, in fact, play-to-earn games, and people are playing them to earn. And that's all they're playing them for, which basically kills the economy of the game until the rewards are pretty negligible, and then people stop playing. So I think coming in with a product initially, and there being a lot of substance initially before it just being a play-to-earn game where people are going to come in only to basically drain value from the system and then leave, will be a really strong asset. I've definitely had a few discussions on the improving sustainability of this game needs to come from the reframing from play to earn to play and earn. So having that free to play component and making the games gains to start with, and then also having that economy component on top.
Cool. I look forward to seeing seeing how it plays out. Where's it minting at? Do you guys know?
That would be a good one to know. I'll just pull it up quickly.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry about that. It's on Magic Eden Launchpad.
It's on Magic Eden. I just pulled it up too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So tomorrow at 4 p.m. It says 4:30 p.m. for the pre-sale, 5 p.m. UTC for public mint on that tomorrow. All right, what's next?
Yeah, so next up is Night Owl Syndicate. That one's also minting tomorrow. It's a little bit higher of a supply and a little bit lower of a price. There's 5,000 of them, 5,000 of the Night Owl Syndicate NFTs, minting at 1.3 for the whitelist. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 for the whitelist, 1 Sol for the whitelist, and 1.3 for the public, which is relatively low given the price of Sol, within the last couple of months. So it's a pretty cheap entry into a project that could be somewhat promising. It's only, that in USD terms is only maybe an entry of somewhere around $40, $50, depending if you're looking at whitelist or the public mint. The project itself, it's a lifestyle brand. Paul, and I think you know a little more about this one too, especially since you came from the sneaker business. This one probably it's a little closer to home for you.
Yeah, so at least what I gather from Night Owl Syndicate is they're essentially minting passes, or the point of this mint essentially is to get VIP passes and exclusive perks in their future endeavors. So what I gather is that Night Owl Syndicate is aiming to be a brand as well as somewhat of an events company. They're already delivering on some of the things they were talking about earlier this week when I was reviewing their project. They announced that they would be releasing their web shop going live on today. And it is, in fact, live today with some pretty interesting looking merch, which is great. I mean, these guys are delivering on their promises pre-mint. They'll also apparently be hosting an event in September in Barcelona, which would be very interesting. The one thing that I do really like about this is with these projects that focus on kind of brand and association in the real world, one of the shortcomings that is always at the front of my mind is like if you have 5,000 people and they're minting from all over the world, and the only way to access this event or something is through holding an NFT, you're only giving access to 5,000 people from all over the world. In the case of Night Owl Syndicate, what they're doing differently is that anyone can access these events by buying tickets normally, but these Night Owl Syndicate NFTs are primarily like VIP passes. They're also able to be staked and will associate back to that shop and the brand. So yeah, definitely got some interesting aspects to this one.
Yeah, I looked up a little bit about it before we started talking here tonight, and nobody's done this successfully yet on Sol. Right? We actually had back in like January or February, Pen Club was trying to kind of do something where if you had the physical pen, right, you could have a QR code on it or something to get into the event. And we've seen it like NFT NYC and other NFT events that you basically have to hold the NFT to get into the personal party. So are we ready? Are we ready yet for the merging of big events and access via NFT ownership?
I think we're ready. I don't think it's too much more of a logistical challenge. I think it would be cool. I mean, I think it's coming in due time. Someone's got to be the first mover, and I definitely think there's some potential in that idea. Just curious to see who's going to be the first one to execute that and bring that to reality. I think that that as a concept is definitely a pretty viable use case for an NFT.
When it comes to Solana NFTs, yeah, no one's perfected it yet. Stargate DAO was trying it. I haven't looked into them for a little while. Catalina Whale Mixer, I think that's a long-term goal for them to do IRL meetups. I mean, one big example of an NFT project that does do that right now is Bored Ape Yacht Club. They do IRL meetups, but they're in a league of their own. But it's tried and true. It will work if you have the right crowd and enough hype behind the project. So it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before someone in Solana specifically, hits big and it works out. So who knows? Owl Syndicate could be that one. It could be a couple months from now that we see the first project to do that. I really like how it's a low entry point. Like I said, it's $40 to enter in. That's relatively low risk, in my opinion. So for what you could get, that's the risk reward is there. Definitely, it's a good opportunity.
Nice. Yeah, we'll keep a close eye on it. I mean, these projects kind of pop up every once in a while, and again, nobody's really kind of found that magic ticket again, yet, because the penetration, like, we're all really early. If you're watching this show, you are so early in the Sol NFT ecosystem, and even crypto, even though it's seemed like it's been around for a long time, is that we haven't really seen like incredible market penetration right now. Like, for those of us who are in it, it's like kind of everything, but for what I guess Magic Eden calls normies, they're just dipping their toes into it. And I think that it'll be nice to see within 5 to 10 years where people are walking around with their NFT QR codes to actually, maybe you have an NFT to get into the event, and you have an NFT to like buy a hot dog, right? You have an NFT to use the VIP bathrooms or something. Like the future is wide open. So it's going to be an interesting, Night Owl's going to be an interesting one to watch, and I really hope that they can like really nail bringing some people in, right? Because what we see a lot in the NFTs is that there will be projects that mint that actually kind of drain liquidity from the actual NFT market, right? They move Sol out of circulation to work on their projects, which is fine. But what we haven't really seen is NFTs that once they're created, bring a whole lot of new people into the ecosystem. I think a lot of in real life utility is what is missing from that component.
Agreed. It's bringing fresh new money into the ecosystem. Yeah, the projects that just take Solana, turn it to USDC and cash out, those are the ones that are taking away from this whole project, the whole ecosystem. But back to your point about meetups and IRL things. If the whole reason for NFTs ends up being one day that NFTs get you into the VIP bathrooms, like you said, I will be shocked if that's the main purpose for NFTs. I'm just joking.
No, but we shall see. I mean, who knows? Like, yeah, it seems a little bit ridiculous, but the fact that we're buying JPEGs that have any utility at all, like 5-10 years ago, that also kind of seemed ridiculous. Let's move on to the last project here. Paul, you want to talk to us, tell everybody about Monkai?
Sure, yeah. Monkai will be minting tomorrow with a mint cost of 2.4 Sol and a slightly larger supply of 6,666. So Monkai, which you can see on the screen here, is an anime-focused project with some of the more generic utilities, I'll put it, the staking, breeding, and air. But they're focused a lot on their story and lore. The one thing that put Monkai on this list and made it one of the notable or interesting projects of the week is that Monkai claims to be the first fully cross-chain NFT that has technology to have both ERC20 or Ethereum and SPL Solana tokens and NFTs on the mint. They have said that this will be delivered on mint. You're able to stake your Monkai to earn the Monk token on either the Ethereum or Solana blockchain. In addition to that, the focus of this project is focused on formation of their DAO, including alpha, whitelist, staking, breeding, and airdrops. And then there's a claim for down the road that they will be developing a Web3 game with player versus player based tournaments. This is a project that kind of cracked the list here because of the idea of it being the first fully cross-chain NFT. I've seen some other NFT mints that have been cross-chain. There was one, I can't even remember the name of it, a while ago that was on Sol and Terra Luna, which naturally probably doesn't exist anymore, at least on half of that side. But it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens with this cross-chain NFT.
Yeah, that'll be the key, the cross-chain aspect of it, because relative to other mints and other NFTs, this is an expensive one. The project team is bringing in a lot of money. What was it? You said 6,666 supply for 2.5 Sol. Just to put it into perspective, I mean, that right there is more than 50% more Sol that they're bringing in on mint day than the first two projects that we talked about combined. So it's a lot of money, and those other two projects they have big visions, and they have a game and a website that they're building. But for a project like this to bring in significantly more money, what are they doing other than cross chain? So that's going to be really key, is how the cross chain aspect of it plays out.
And stuff like this is interesting because it definitely is taking a bit of a risk, but it pioneers opportunities for other projects to do the same if they feel the need to.
Yeah, I'm interested in just checking out. Let's take a look really quick. Take a look really quick here at the project, and they show us some art previews here. There's been quite a few projects that have kind of used the same character. Really interesting to me that some of these can pull big money when they kind of look like copies of each other. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it, right? That we see a lot of kind of copy pasta projects. I think Pengsol had kind of the same kind of side mint with the cat. There's been one with the little cat on the head there. I don't know. It's really interesting, and I'm wondering kind of when are we gonna see just super saturation of these, when people are like, yeah, I've seen that before.
That image, that sort of look, that NFT look, where it's the sideways facing person, goes back to Azuki, which is a ETH project. I think they're at 10 ETH Sol right now, or a 10 ETH floor right now. So I think that they just try to piggyback off of that look.
I mean, apparently it works.
Yeah, it does work. I was thinking the same thing as you. As soon as I pulled up that mint, I was like, wait a minute. I swear I've seen this before.
I know. Same. Yeah. I did that. I did the same thing. I'm like, wait, I think I just saw this on Pengsol. So we're gonna.
Pengsol. You're right.
Yeah, Pengsol looked almost just like that. But nevertheless, so 3 mints all happening tomorrow, which is crazy. So you're gonna have to choose wisely, everyone, on which mints that you want. We're nearing the end of our time here as well. We're gonna keep it tight to a 30-minute format. I hope everybody has had got a lot of information here. Learned a little bit about what's going on tomorrow through the diligent research of Paul and Sol Dozer with the Sol Army Project Intel. Next week we're going to try something different. We're gonna do a two-parter for you guys. And that means that we're going to start here on YouTube, and then we're going to move over to the Project Intel Twitter Spaces, where we're going to actually have some live Q&A, and maybe we can get some of the projects that we talk about next week on there. You can find all of us on Discord. My Discord name's @Kris Merkel, or @ExodusChris, actually. Paul's is @Paul C, and Sol Dozer is @Sol Dozer. You can find Project Intel on Twitter, @Project Intel, and all about Exodus all in one, bringing the tribes home, multi-asset wallet with desktop, mobile, and web browser for all your Web3 needs at exodus.io. So you've heard the intel. Now go take a look and leave us some comments in the bottom. So thanks, Paul. Thanks, Sol Dozer, for coming on the program again today.
Thanks, Kris.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you guys every Monday evening. Every Monday evening with new NFT Intel, maybe some projects to give away. So, any last thoughts?
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a really interesting day. There's those 3 projects we talked about, and then there's a 4th one that I have my eye on as well. But it's going to be an interesting day, busy day tomorrow for sure in the NFT space.
Any words of wisdom, Paul?
Nope, just echoing what Dozer says. It's going to be a big day tomorrow, and yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. So everybody can come back here later on in the week and leave comments and let us know if you were able to mint. So we'll see you next Monday night, same time on the Exodus YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, everyone, and until next time, NFT on.